This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
Good afternoon, this is Frida Liu and it's Tech Talk. DDoS, malware, hacking, all these became household names and terms in 2011. Krishna Rajagopal, CEO for AKATI Consulting, is here with me today as we are taking a look back at some of the best performers in the virus world. This is the BFM w00t Awards. Okay, Krishna, good to see you again.
Thanks,
what was the best information leak of the year? Let's get right into it.
Well, let's get straight in. Frida, 2011 was a crazy year. You know, a lot of people dubbed it as the epic year of hacks, you know.
You had a gala time.
Yeah. Locally, you know, we have another version for it. We call it Hackers Bole. Yeah. Hacking has become so much easier, you know, especially in 2011. And that's why we had a lot of hacking for good and for bad. Hackers are coming out with new tools, new techniques, easier methods, and of course companies are also at the edge to increase their security. So activism is becoming a big thing, and it's become a new opportunity. Now, of course, we heard a lot of things: WikiLeaks, CIA, Anonymous.
It started off with WikiLeaks.
Yes, it started off with WikiLeaks in 2011. LulzSec, Sony, Amazon. These are things that we commonly hear, but then again, the one information leak that was the ultimate epic, that is the recipient of that award, has to be HB Gary Federal. Their emails were leaked by this hacker group called Anonymous, and they were the winners of this. The HB Gary is basically a company that helps the US federal government to track down cyber activists, right? And they themselves were hacked by the same activists they were actually hunting for. And they were funny because what happened was there was a social engineering that was done against these HB Gary guys, and they publicly shamed this HB Gary guys. There was massive reputation damage.
You don't say.
Yeah, 27,000 emails were released from the CEO, Greg, and then there was another, I think, 50,000 emails that were released from Aaron, the CEO of the sister company, and they even had to pull off from a lot of events. There was complete information leakage at its best.
And of course, you know, it's the body that actually tracks hackers. You know, I hope the BFM w00t Awards don't get too popular, because then it's something that people aspire to do, especially if it's for bad.
Exactly, that's true.
What was the best website defacement attack of the year?
All right. Now, this one, without a doubt, has to go to this. We're still not sure whether it's a person or a group. The person claims that he works alone. He basically comes under the name Turk Güven Ligi, and that basically translates into Turkish security. Now, he did a DNS hijack, and he attacked the Register.co, Vodafone, Telegraph, Acer, National Geographic, UPS, HSBC Korea, a whole load of high profile website defacement attacks, and he did it just purely by DNS hijacking. He even redirected the visitors to another site and called it World Hackers Day. So he must have been the winner of this award.
Okay, so now for the biggest hack of the year, what could that be?
Well, this, I think, the hack that kept everybody talking would have to be the Sony PlayStation hack. You know, everybody was shocked. A lot of users were upset. That took place, I think, in April 17th to 19th. That had, sort of allowed the hacker to access almost 70 million user accounts. That would be the winner.
And I think after that, what was more shocking was that Sony, another division of Sony, had another attack again.
Multiple divisions of Sony was hacked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
so Sony hacked again.
And in this list, there are no Malaysians. We're not doing a Malaysian version.
No, we're doing a global version.
We're doing a global version. I don't know if Malaysia gets into this. Now, most alarming hack of the year that sent administrators shivering to the bones.
Well, now this award...
I love these long awards.
When it's long, it's special then. This award basically goes to the digital certificate spoofing attack by this guy called Commodore Hacker. Now, this is very alarming because a lot of organizations rely on digital certificates to secure them. But it was that very same security mechanism, the Internet Trust System, that was used by this guy to hack into Google, Yahoo, and a lot of high-profile sites. And this guy was basically a 21-year-old Iranian patriot hacker. He said he took the credit by saying he was protesting against U.S. policy and was merely retaliating against the U.S. government for its alleged involvement with Stuxnet, which basically was targeting his country's nuclear facility.
Okay. Yeah. Were you actually any of them?
No.
Okay, what was the best hacking book of the year? Hacking book?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't make up my mind on this, but then again, there are two winners for this category. In 2011, I think the two best books that came out was this particular book, Kingpin, How One Hacker Took Over a $1 billion Cybercrime Underground World by Kevin Poulsen. And the other one would have to be Backtrack Wireless Penetration Testing by this guy called Vivek Ramachandran. This, I think, were the best books, hacking books, that were straight off, did not beat around the bush, and actually told you the truth.
And you'd be the sort of person who would read them.
Yes, of course.
Kingpin was written more like a fictional story.
Yes, correct. But it was really interesting because what was a fiction now actually is reality today. I mean, of course, not $1 billion underground, but we see it happening today, especially with the talks of, told you how the mafias are getting into the hackers and stuff. It's happening.
He's probably involved in a certain way to
probably
know.
Inspired.
Inspired. Okay, I like that choice of word. Okay, and the award for most vulnerable mobile OS of the year.
Well, we've seen a lot of record-breaking numbers of malware, and especially on mobile devices. But then again, the uptake of this is direct correlation to popularity. Of course, people are using a lot of mobile devices, but the award for the most vulnerable mobile OS goes to Android. Android mobile devices are seeing a lot of malware attacks, but Android is clearly leading the way. He's ahead of the pack. What we've seen is Android's vulnerability to malicious content, including third-party apps that are not tested well, SMS trojans, smishing, that's SMS phishing, and then unexpected bugs distributed through Wi-Fi hotspots has increased by about 45% in 1 year, just in 2011.
And that's why even with iOS, even though it's proprietary in a way, there are benefits to it. But then again, we'll be talking about other awards, so I don't know whether that will be listed there. We'll talk about that in just a bit. I'm speaking to Krishna Rajagopal, CEO of AKATI Consulting, and in a while, the Golden Award.
All right.
Tech Talk, BFM 89.9. Good afternoon. This is Frida Liu. In case you've just joined us meaning Krishna Rajagopal, CEO of AKATI Consulting, and we're talking about the BFM Wood Awards. We just called it the BFM Wood Awards. The most vulnerable mobile OS of the year, early on you said was goes to Android. Let's take it a notch higher. The Golden Award for the most vulnerable OS of the century.
Right. Now, when we choose this particular award, we go through a rigorous testing procedure. Yes. And we want to see someone who's clearly earned it and deserved it. And for this particular category, there is one particular winner, and he has done it again and again and again. The award for the most vulnerable operating system has to go, of the century, I think, has to go to Windows by Microsoft. And there's no one who could actually come close to that at the moment.
Okay.
I'll reserve my comments.
Okay. All right. The most high-profile hacker of the year.
Well, there has been a lot of high-profile hacks in 2011, as I mentioned, but the one that topped it all had to be LulzSec. And why we say that is simply because of the approach that LulzSec takes towards attacks. Now, Security, that's what they call themselves. They are basically responsible for a lot of high-profile attacks, like the CIA and, of course, Sony. The other divisions of Sony Pictures, for example, distributing emails from Sony Pictures and stuff. It has basically gained a lot of attention. People like to see LulzSec's attacks simply because of the sarcastic messages that they put on the page after they've attacked. And basically, Lulz basically stands for, just for gain, or just for fun, or just doing it for the joy of disrupting. For the heck of it, And they do things for the lulz. And that's what they call themselves, Security. And they focus on comedic and entertainment value of the attack. So it's really funny.
Really funny, yes.
But not for CIA, of course.
Not for the CIA, nor for Sony as well.
Yeah.
Craziest hack of the year.
Well, if last year the winner has to be Lisa Moon,
Uh-huh.
this year it has to be. There was this organization in which their entire data center was hacked simultaneously. And they were called In Motion Hosting. They were attacked by a hacker called Tiger Mate. And 700,000 websites
Wow.
was hacked single-handedly by this guy.
It
at
could be
one
a
go.
woman.
It could be a woman, definitely. We don't know. And of course, again, this person claims to work individually. And this person claims that he's out of Bangladesh. And it's amazing because he were able to hack the index.php file of all the sites. And once you've hacked it, you got to submit it. So he was submitting it to a defacement mirror. And in this case, he was submitting it to Zone H. By the time he was submitting 200,000 sites, the site went down. So he couldn't even submit the whole list of sites he had hacked. That's how amazing it was.
The craziest hack of the year.
Yeah.
With all these people, before we go into the next award, with all these people, someone, they should actually look at being hired gainfully for the good.
Exactly. I mean, especially for this particular guy, Tiger Mate, for example.
If we can find them.
I think he has a lot of skills for him to be able to do that simultaneously. And of course, he utilized a zero-day attack. He didn't use anything that was out of the wild, and it takes a lot of intelligence and skills to do that.
So supposedly out of Bangladesh.
Yes.
Supposedly. Okay.
Yep.
Best hacking group of the year. The award goes to.
This is not that hard to guess. I mean, it goes to Anonymous. Yeah. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We heard a lot of that, especially in Malaysia. We heard about it. We were victims as well. Now, the thing is, Anonymous created a different perspective to hacktivism, and I think that was what really inspired a lot of people. And of course, Anonymous supposedly has no leaders, no gurus, no ideologists, none of that. And they performed a lot of operations like the HP Gary attack, the Bank of America attack, Sony anti-security attack, and of course our very own Op Malaysia. And recently now they're also targeting the Pirate Bay in Finland as well. So the idea here is Anonymous has given a new breath of life into hacktivism, which was dead for a long time. And I think they were the best hacking group of the year.
Okay, the biggest victim of the year, and I hope it's someone we've mentioned because they already sound like a lot of damage. So I'm just wondering, is there a bigger victim?
No. The biggest epic fail award has to be Sony. Almost all Sony websites, Indonesia, Japan, Thailand, Greece, Canada, Netherlands, Europe, and a whole lot more, Russia, Portugal, Sony PlayStation Network, their sites were attacked, defaced, and information was leaked.
Yeah. I think that's
70-odd million people's information was released. Just that one particular Sony PlayStation hack value was about $170 million US.
And they were saying they're going to pay them back in some way or the other.
We haven't even calculated
how much
damage yet.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
it's 2012 already.
Yeah, there's even rumors that they might even close it down and restart as a new entity because it's just way too much to pay off.
Wow, okay. And the best malware of the year.
All right. Now, 2011 was really hot on malware analysis, but the winner, without a doubt, is Duku. Duku. A lot of Malaysians like it because it sounds very similar to a local fruit. But it's called Duku because the extension of these files end with a D and a Q. So to rhyme it, Duku. And it was the first ever malware that has a modular structure.
How does it work, for example?
For example, what happens is hackers can use this to remove features that they don't want and add features that they want. For example, if you've got 25 features, I could say I want to use feature 1 and 6. Another hacker could use it and say I want to use feature 6 and 7. Or someone could say I want to use the whole load of it.
Modular?
And it's modular. It's interesting because a lot of people found very close resemblance between Stuxnet and Duku.
It could be a branch of the...
They say that it's the same creator. And we found that there were 3 main similarities between Duku and Stuxnet. they were all using zero-day exploits. That means they were not patched. Windows exploits. And they were all signed, certificates were signed with stolen certificates. So they exploit SSL as well. And it is highly targeted. So it has a sort of advanced intelligence in it. It knows which machine to infect. If it is supposed to infect Frida's machine, it could be spread across 100 machines, but it'll only activate on your machine. And it knows what he wants to steal. So that is very, very interesting. And again, in 2012, be prepared for more advanced malware.
So with that one, was that for profit or for fun? It was for profit.
We're not sure yet, but of course, the signs are slanting towards profit. It does suggest that several governments were involved.
Fui.
Yeah, because of the Iranian facility. Duku was also targeted towards the Iranian facility, and it was used again for another particular situation as well. And the Duku, for example, was found again in the wild in the Arab Spring again. So it was quite interesting. And we found something else now. There is a similar type of Trojan or breeds of Trojan that are lurking around now. And one particular one, slightly different, but it targets online banking users, is Game Over. Right? And Game Over is right now infecting users across the world, including Malaysia.
What's happening there? They take out your money and tell you it's game over.
Yep.
There's no money left.
Basically just targeting your online banking credentials.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, with that, we conclude the BFM Wood Awards for 2012 with Krishna Rajagopal, CEO for AKATI Consulting, Tech Talk BFM 89.9.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.